The top stories tonight in Y News. The Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology does not see yet the need to raise the alert status in Bulusan Volcano, which continued to be restive after erupting on Sunday. The political party of President-elect Ferdinand Marcos Jr. has filed its statement of contributions and expenditures, stating that it has spent 272 million pesos on his presidential bid. Anti-Red Tape Authority Director General Jeremiah Benhica says the graft allegations against him and other ARTA officials were malicious as they were only doing their job. And oil companies will increase their prices with big-time increments on diesel products starting tonight. Good evening, Philippines and the world. Today is Monday, the 6th of June, 2022. Join us in the next hour as we deliver today's top stories around the Philippines and in other parts of the world. I am William Theo, and we are also seen in 1,935 satellite monitoring centers nationwide and via live streaming worldwide through the UNTV News and Rescue social media accounts. First in the news, the Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology, or PHIVOLCS, continues to record volcanic quakes in the last 24 hours in Bulusan Volcano, which continued to be restive after erupting on Sunday. The Sorsogon provincial government says it has no plans to declare a state of calamity for now, since the effect of the volcano eruption is still manageable. Alan Manansala will tell us why.
Police and firefighters continued with their clearing operations in Barangay Puting Sapa, Huban, Sorsogon, one of the most affected areas by the heavy ash fall following Mount Bulusan's eruption on Sunday. The Sorsogon provincial government says it will allow families to return to their homes when the weather has improved and after the thick ash that covered their community has been cleared.
Kung sa susunod na 2 araw hanggang bukas, hindi ito pumutok at malinis na, tapos na ang aming paglilinis sa 2 barangay na apektado, magde-decamp na kami sa evacuation center at hahayaan na namin umuwi ang aming mga kababayan para magkumpuni na muli.
Police Chief Lieutenant Jonathan Hapa says it will take 2 days to complete the clearing operations in the village.
So, ginagawa po natin, pina-flash out po ng, kung makikita nyo yung fire truck, at kanina may dumating po na bako para hatakin o alisin itong mga tumigas na mga abo dito sa daan ng Puting Sapa.
Senator-elect and Sorsogon Governor Chis Escudero said they have enough funds to provide for the needs of the residents staying in Tughan Evacuation Center. He says there is no need to declare a state of calamity.
Sapat ang pondo ng lalawigan dahil ito ang una namang kalamidad ng lalawigan sa taong ito. So sufficient at hindi pa nagagalaw ang calamity fund ng lalawigan para sa mga bagay tulad nito. Pero wala kaming balak magdeklara ng state of calamity. Hindi naman kailangan.
A total of 2,784 families or 13,920 individuals were affected by ashfall from the phreatic eruption of Bulusan's volcano, while 75 families or 278 individuals were transferred to the Tughan Evacuation Center in Huban Town. Mount Bulusan's last phreatic eruption was recorded in December 2016. Alan Manansala, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The alert level of Bulusan Volcano will remain under level 1 according to PHIVOLCS. This is despite its phreatic eruption yesterday, which produced a thick ashfall that blanketed several barangays. Asher Kadapan Jr. details why.
Escalating to volcano alert level 2 means that there is probable intrusion of magma at depth, which can lead to magmatic eruption. But the Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology says this is not the case with the eruption of Bulusan Volcano yesterday. FIVOX officer in charge in Science and Technology Undersecretary Renato Solidum explains it was only phreatic or steam-driven eruption that occurred in Bulusan Volcano.
Kapag phreatic eruption or steam-driven eruption, ang materyales na inilas ay lumang material, mga abo na nasa crater na lang at ito ang iniit sa palabas.
Solidum emphasized that there has been no evidence of rising magma in the eruption of Bulusan. Based on the measurement of observable parameters recorded by FIVOX, Bulusan had very low to undetectable sulfur dioxide emission and only few volcanic earthquake not related to magmatic movement.
Meron pong ibang tipo o signature ang magma kapag ito'y kumikilos. Pangatlo, kung talagang may magmang aakyat, dapat mamaga ang buong bulkan mula sa ilalim hanggang sa taas. At ito po ay delikado kung talagang may bagong magma. Wala pa po tayong nakikitang ganon, imbes ang nakikita po natin ay hydrothermal activity, pagpapakulo ng tubig.
With this, alert level 1 remains in effect over Bulusan Volcano, which means it is currently in an abnormal condition.
Hindi po natin nakikita na magtataas tayo ng alerto from alert level 1 to alert 2 sa kadahilan ng kapag nagsabi na tayo na alert level 2, meron ng magma na involved sa activity ng vulkan. Either may papaakit na magma o yung gas galing sa magma ay nandudulot ng pag-init ng tubig.
Despite this, FIVOX warns concerned residents of the volcano's increased possibilities of sudden and hazardous phreatic eruptions that may occur without warning. The public are reminded against entry into the 4-kilometer radius permanent danger zone and in the 2-kilometer extended danger zone on the southeast sector. Asher Kadapan Jr., UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Meanwhile, health experts warn of the harmful effects of the volcanic ash and toxic sulfuric gases in the air after the phreatic eruption of Mount Bulusan on Sunday. Aiko Miguel reports.
Pulmonologist Dr. Maricar Limpin explains that exposure to volcanic ash can cause eye, nose, throat, skin irritation. It may also trigger asthma attacks and other respiratory problems. Volcanic ash can also cause coughing and difficulty in breathing.
Yung binubuga ng bulkan, iba-ibang particles yan, ano? So medyo may maliliit, no? May mga pino at saka medyo may malalaki. But in general, yan mga volcanic ash, meron siyang acidic coating. At dahil dito sa acidic coating niya, mabilis na magkakos ng irritation yan ng respiratory system natin, pati na rin ng mata.
Dr. Limpino also said long exposure to volcanic ash can cause silicosis.
Itong mga silicone na to o yung silicates, no, magkakos nga din siya ng irritation. So isa sa mga long-term effect niya, no, pwedeng magkaroon ka ng fibrosis. Ito ay pwedeng pagmulan ng paghirap ng paghinga, no. So medyo progressive, no, lalong-lalo na kung patuloy yung exposure mo. Mas matagal na panahon na na-expose ka, then mas mataas yung chance na magkaroon ka ng silicosis.
Residents in the most affected areas should wear N95 masks to protect their mouth and nose from volcanic ash. When there are no available N95 masks, surgical masks and old t-shirts can also be used to protect the mouth and nose from volcanic ashes. Wearing of goggles and eyeglasses are also advised to protect the eyes from sulfur powder.
They were also advising the affected population to always wear their face mask, mag-face shield, mag-salamin or goggles para hindi makapasok sa mata kasi matinding irritation yung dala ng mga abo na yan kasi hindi lang sila simpleng alikabok, mga microscopic na bato.
The National Disaster for Risk Reduction and Management Council or NDRRMC also advises residents to boil their drinking waters before consuming it.
Yung inyong inuming patubig po ay dapat maging maingat din kasi I was told that there were some communities who were dependent on spring water and this spring water was exposed to the ashfall incident. So the local government unit is also giving out bottled water, drinking water to those communities.
Aiko Miguel, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Meanwhile, the UNTV News and Rescue team offers some key facts about protecting yourself during and after a volcanic eruption.
Are you near an active volcano in the Philippines? UNTV News and Rescue provides some useful tips on what to do during and after a volcanic eruption. First, when the eruption occurs while you are inside your home, be calm. Don't go out and close all windows and doors, and cover your nose and mouth with a clean cloth or a medical mask. Monitor news updates. Don't let your pets go out of the house.
So pwede po tayong gumamit ng mga makakapal na tela, mga tuwalya o kortina, tapos pwede nating basahin para mas ma-filter yung mga particles ng ashfall na pwedeng pumasok dun sa loob ng bahay.
When you're outside the house or driving, stop and look for a safe place. Protect your eyes with eyeglasses or goggles and cover the nose and mouth with a dust or medical mask.
Kung wala na po tayong makita at zero visibility na po, kailangan ay humanap tayo ng ligtas na lugar at doon natin iparada yung sasakyan natin. At huwag tayong lumabas sa sasakyan. Antayin natin na makita natin yung kalsada bago tayo mag-proceed.
In case it rains, take cover under a waiting shed as ashfall from volcanic eruption has a negative effect on the skin. After the explosion, remove the ashfall by hosing down the roof and window sills. Thoroughly clean bed sheets by vacuuming them first before soaking them in water and detergent soap. Rinse them well. Dispose of the collected ashfall safely. Meanwhile, in case someone inhales the ashfall, immediately give oxygen or, if necessary, bring the person to the hospital.
Presidential Advisor on Entrepreneurs Sec Joey Concepcion urged for COVID-19 vaccine manufacturers to apply for a certificate of product registration in the Philippines. Rosa Dicos explains why.
Granting of Certificate of Product Registration or CPR for COVID-19 vaccines in the Philippines may take several months. Thus, Presidential Advisor on Entrepreneurship Secretary Joey Concepcion urges the vaccine manufacturers to apply for CPR. This is amid his renewed call on the government to make plans over possible lifting of public health state of emergency.
We have to transition from an EUA to a CPR. Now, how long that will take? It starts the moment the vaccine manufacturer files for that. So then when you do that, then you can now start. That's why the whole process has to be discussed, if they agree, and you plan for it. No, you have to plan for it. It may take us 6 months to be able to move to from a state of public health emergency to a total removal.
Recently, the Philippines has been given low-risk assessment by the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Also, the country's ranking in Nikkei Asia's COVID-19 Recovery Index significantly improved in May, which means we are moving closer to recovery. Concepcion reiterates public health emergency measures should be lifted because of the government's rising debt.
At least malalaman natin anong game plan kasama natin ang private sector kasi nakikita natin ang utang nating tumataas at hindi naman siguro kaya ng government na lahat itong igastos nila. So eventually, over time, part of this responsibility will be shared with us in the private sector, pati yung publiko, who can afford to pay the vaccines.
According to the Department of Health, once state of public health emergency is lifted, the emergency use authorization of COVID-19 vaccines will be invalid. For Dr. Edsel Salvania, an infectious diseases expert and member of the Technical Advisory Group of the DOH, the government also has to prepare before lifting the public health emergency.
Meron rin kasing mga naka-attach na conditions doon sa public health emergency, doon sa state of calamity. So very important, we will follow yung kung ano nga ang sasabihin ng WHO, but at the same time, we will be preparing.
Rosa Licoz, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
In other news, motorists should brace for another round of big-time increases in the pump prices of petroleum products this week. JP Nunez reports why.
Oil companies will impose another hike on petroleum products starting tonight. In separate advisories, Caltex Clean Fuel, PTT Philippines, Sea Oil, and Shell said they will raise diesel prices by 6.55 pesos per liter and gasoline prices by 2.70 pesos per liter. Caltex, Sea Oil, and Shell will likewise hike kerosene prices by 5.45 pesos per liter. According to Department of Energy, among the reasons for soaring oil prices are the start of increasing demand of Northern Hemisphere nations brought by the summer peak period and European Union's ban on Russian oil imports. With the soaring fuel prices, public transportation drivers grieves their insufficient budget for their families.
Balak ko nga maghanap na ng ibang trabaho yung kaso nahihirapan mag-apply ng ibang trabaho Kaya nagtsatsaga pa rin kahit mataas, magtsatsaga ka talaga kahit wala ka nang maiuwi. Halos sa krudo lang mapupunta po Saka sa boundary, nakikiusap nga lang kami sa boundary na babaan pa Minsan nga wala nang boundary.
Hindi na nasunod ang boundary ng operator na 600. Dating 600, 300 na lang. Wala na kami kikitain Ay halos na doon na lang napupunta sa krudo, sa diesel. Yung binibigay pa ng gobyernong subsidy, wala naman yung iba nakakuha. Mga driver, mga operator lang.
Halos wala na pong kinikita kasi nung una, 4 na ikot namin, 1.5 lang din yung diesel. Ay ngayon, umaabot na ng 3,000 mahigit yung 4 na ikot, kaya halos wala na po kami natitira
The Land Transportation, Franchising and Regulatory Board advises jeepney drivers to visit their website on the list of operators who are qualified beneficiaries for fuel subsidy program. Aside from drivers, fisherfolk are also expected to get hit by the soaring fuel price. The Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources assures that the government has a program to assist local fishermen.
Namimigay kami sa mga artisanal fishermen, mga municipal fishing sector na lumalabas ngayon, mga naka-registered na mga mangingisda natin at pati yung bangka nila naka-register, binibigyan po natin sila ng 3,000 pesos each para parang transport assistance para lumabas sila para makapangisda.
JP Nunez, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
The political party of President-elect Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. spent 272 million pesos in the May 2022 elections. Meanwhile, the last day for filing of the Statement of Contributions and Expenditures, or SOSE, is on June 8. Dante Amento will give us the details live. Yes, Dante, good evening. Go ahead.
Good evening, William. The Partido Federal ng Pilipinas, or PFP, of President-elect Ferdinand Marcos Jr. filed their Statement of Contributions and Expenditures, or SOSE, today. PFP's legal officer, Attorney Rico Alday, says they spent 272 million pesos in the elections. This is below than the maximum expenditure for a political party of 337 million pesos. Alday noted that the big chunk of their expenses was allocated for television advertisements.
TV ads yung malaking bulk nito. Kasi yun nga, alam niyo naman magkano yung TV ads, so yun yung bulk nito.
Under the law, all political parties are allowed to spend 5 pesos for every voter currently registered, while presidential and vice presidential candidates are allowed to spend 10 pesos per voter. Meanwhile, as of June 3, 2022, only 14 national candidates were able to file their Statement of Contributions and Expenditures, or SOSE. Senator Ping Lacson is the only presidential candidate who has accomplished his SOSE. Former PNP Chief Guillermo Eleazar and former Senator Antonio Trillanes IV for Senator, and 11 party list groups. The deadline for the filing of SOSE is on Wednesday, June 8, 2022. William, all candidates who vied for a position are mandated to submit their SOSE. For a winning bet, failure to comply may result in his or her assumption of office getting withheld. And that's the latest live from Quezon City. Back to you, William.
Yes, thank you, Dante Amento, reporting live from Quezon City. President-elect Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. continued to receive foreign dignitaries as he met with the ambassadors of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations. Marcos Jr. also met with his economic team to tackle his priorities in a bid to help the country recover from the pandemic. Nel Maribohok will tell us why.
President-elect Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. met with Italian Ambassador to the Philippines Marco Clemente this morning. According to incoming Press Secretary Attorney Trixie Cruz Angeles, they tackled several issues including the COVID-19 response and cooperations in infrastructure projects.
Political, economic, and person-to-person cooperation. On the political aspect, the ambassador noted that this is the 75th year of Italian-Philippine relations, diplomatic relations. On the economic front, they talked about possible cooperation in infrastructure projects. Oh, by the way, they also talked about COVID.
Aside from Italian Ambassador, Marcos Jr. also met with Brunei Darussalam Ambassador to the Philippines, Joharian Wahabs. They have tackled cooperations of the two countries in labor, education, health, and culture. Meanwhile, President-elect Marcos presides in the meeting with the members of his economic team led by incoming Finance Secretary Benjamin Jokno at his headquarters in Mandaluyong City. During the meeting, Marcos outlined his priorities and issued his marching orders that are mostly designed for economic recovery. Nel Maribuhok, UNTV News and Rescue, we serve the people, we give glory to God.
The Philippine National Police has not monitored any possible disruptions before the inauguration ceremonies of President-elect Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. and Vice President-elect Sara Duterte Carpio. The PNP has assured of enough number of policemen who will secure the said events. Leah Ilagan reports.
PNP Directorate for Operations Director Police Major General Val de Leon personally inspected the National Museum in Manila as part of the security preparations for the inauguration of President-elect Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. on June 30. De Leon said PNP OIC Police Lieutenant General Vicente Danao Jr. emphasized the need for early preparations in order to anticipate and prepare for all the possible scenarios. De Leon said, for now, they don't see any need to send augmentation force to Davao and Manila.
The strength of Pro 11 is enough to contain the security required for the off-taking of Vice President-elect Mayor Inday Sara Duterte. We will probably be around just to supervise. But in terms of strength or forces to be augmented from the national headquarters will be not considered at the moment. But we will be providing everything from traffic to intelligence to presence of our forces.
De Leon also confirmed that the PNP will be on full alert until the event is done.
We are still on alert, considering that the activity has not transpired. We have scheduled our conference with COMELEC and the Armed Forces of the Philippines by Wednesday to conduct the briefing and accomplishments of the different sub-task group in order for the Directorate for Operations to consolidate and submit this to
the President and the incoming President-elect through our officer in charge, Lieutenant General Vicente Danao.
The Manila Police District confirmed that 8,000 policemen will be deployed in the vicinity during the inauguration day. Leia Ilagan, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
The regional wage boards in 14 regions already approved wage hike in their respective areas, which are scheduled to take effect this June. However, labor groups say that the wage increase is still not enough. Eileen Cerudo will tell us why.
The new daily wage in 14 regions did not even breach the poverty threshold standard of the Philippine Statistics Authority, according to labor group Trade Union Congress of the Philippines. TUCP spokesperson Alan Tanhusay explains the poverty threshold is at 640 pesos per day for a family of 5. He said this amount will be enough to sustain the needs of families.
So 640 yung ating standard since 2021. Subalit, kahit na nagdagdag yung 14 na wage boards ng wage increase orders, maliit pa rin yung idinagdag at ang very challenging nito para sa mga manggagawa ay maliit na yung binigay, installment pa, no? Ang wage increase na inilabas.
According to Brian Nadwa, the spokesperson of Intercall Center Association of Workers and member of Partido Manggagawa, the wage increase should encompass the 3 years of no wage hike.
So, 3 taon pa yung dapat i-recover natin siguro na wages. So, kung sa NCR yung 33 pesos, siguro masyadong malit. Diba? Ang sabi nga ng Wage Recovery Board, at least parang 50 pesos or 100 pesos ang kailangan natin i-recover since 2008.
There will be a wage increase in the National Capital Region, Calabarzon, Cordillera Administrative Region, Caraga, Ilocos Region, Cagayan Valley, and Central Luzon Region. Areas also include Mimaropa, Bicol Region, Western and Central Visayas, Central Mindanao, Davao, and Soxargen Region. All wage increase will take effect this month. In order to help workers, the TUCP is eyeing on recommending the Marcos administration to provide cash assistance to minimum wage earners. However, the labor group also admitted it will be a challenge to find the budget for the cash assistance.
Ngayon ay muli naming ini-entertain ng idea o yung panukala sa Marcos administration. Pero wala pa itong kasiguruhan dahil iniisip namin kung saan pa pwedeng kunin ang budget.
The Intercall Center Association of Workers said minimum wage earners should be exempted from paying additional taxes. Free rides provided by the Department of Transportation should also continue.
Exemption para sa mga manggagawa katulad ng baka pwedeng hindi na magbayad ng 12% value added tax, yung mga manggagawa sa mga binibili nila na mga basic commodities. And then magkaroon din sana ng parang discount itong mga minimum wage earner, lalo na sa transportation sector. Ituloy yung libreng sakay na binibigay ngayon ng DOTR.
Eileen Cerudo, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
Meanwhile, the head of the Anti-Red Tape Authority, or ARTA, together with other officials, have filed a motion for reconsideration following the preventive suspension order from the Ombudsman. Harleen Delgado will tell us why.
Anti-Red Tape Authority or ARTA Director General Jeremiah Belhica, together with 4 other officials, filed their counter-affidavits and motions for reconsideration before the Office of the Ombudsman. This comes after Ombudsman Samuel Martires ordered a 6-month preventive suspension against Belhica and 4 other ARTA officials. This was in connection with a complaint filed by Dito Telecommunity Corporation against ARTA for allegedly favoring another telco, Now Telecom Company Incorporated or Nowtel, in choosing the new major player. Dito alleges that ARTA violated the Anti-Graft and Corrupt Practices Act. Belhica maintains they do not have the power to approve applications and licenses, and they only enforce the ease of doing business law. According to the ARTA chief, it stemmed from their 2021 decision to release an order of automatic approval to the application of Nautel for a usable frequencies that the National Telecommunications Commission or NTC did not act upon for more than a decade. Nautel made the complaint to ARTA in May 2020 when NTC granted the telco's request for a provisional authority months after, still with no frequencies.
Ang approval o denial ng aplikasyon ay nakadepende sa mga ahensya, pero kung hindi ho ito naaaksyonan, inuupuan at hindi ho gumagalaw, doon ho pumapasok ang aplikasyon ng batas. Wala ho kaming intensyon na kunin ang kahit anong kapangyarihan ng NTC o ng sino mang ahensya na mag-approve ng mga permits, mag-approve lang ng mga lisensya. Gusto po namin sabihin sa lahat na hindi po kami corrupt. Ginagawa lang po namin ang amin pong mga trabaho.
Under Section 10 of Republic Act 11032, or the Ease of Doing Business Act, applications or requests for licenses or permits shall be deemed approved if a government office or agency fails to approve or disapprove such within the prescribed processing time, provided that all required documents have been submitted and all fees have been paid. The law mandates that applications and requests shall be acted upon within 3 days for simple transactions, 7 days for complex transactions, and not more than 20 days for highly technical applications.
Hari naway ang amin pong sagot sa mga ginagawa po ng ARTA ay makatulong din po na mas maipalawanag ang aming pong trabaho at paano ho namin ina-apply ang batas. Baka sakaling makatulong din po ito sa disposition ng mga kaso pong na-file na rin po namin. At ito po yung makatulong para maibsan din po ang buhay ng mga taong na biktima po sa red tape.
Belhica says he will abide by the preventive suspension of the ombudsman. It is not yet clear who will replace Belhica in the meantime before he officially ends his term on June 30. The two telcos and the NTC have yet to comment on the recent move of the anti-red tape body. Jorlene Delgado, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
And for the news abroad, gun violence still persists as more mass shootings terrorize the United States of America. Marvy Delfin will give us the details live. Yes, Marvy, good evening.
Good evening, Kath. Just over the weekend in the states of Philadelphia, Tennessee, and Michigan, 3 separate mass shooting events occurred, killing over 9 people. The first set of shootings happened on Saturday evening in a tourist street of Philadelphia, leaving 12 people wounded and 3 people dead, according to Philadelphia Police Commissioner Daniel Outlaw, who detailed the event.
At this time, we believe that one of the 3 decedents was a male involved in a physical altercation with another male that was potentially the genesis of the shooting. These individuals eventually began firing at one another, with both being struck, one fatally. We also believe that the 2 other decedents, as well as a number of other shooting victims, were uninvolved in the initial altercation and were innocent bystanders.
The area where the shooting occurred in Philadelphia has been blocked off by the government to avoid congestions and further pattern of violence. On the same night, multiple gunshots were fired in a nightclub in Chattanooga, Tennessee, leaving 14 hit by gunfire and 3 people dead. One of the 3 people who died was hit by a vehicle as many fled the premises. The third and last shooting event took place the early morning of Sunday at Saginaw, Michigan, which yet again left 3 people dead and 2 more wounded, all of which were involved in the incident, police say. As the nation records 239 mass shooting events this year, majority of the population are now calling for stronger gun control laws to reduce the likelihood of another mass shooting. Kath?
Thank you, Marvy Delfin, reporting live. Due to staff shortages and air traffic control restrictions, an estimate of 200 flights were canceled over the weekend across Europe, which stranded thousands of British travelers after the long holiday in the United Kingdom. EasyJet, British Airways, and Wizz Air are experiencing the biggest issues with grounded flights. According to London Mayor Sadiq Khan, Brexit is a huge factor in this issue since there were airline workers from other European countries before Brexit who had to leave and officials from airlines had to let go of their staff during COVID-19. The London mayor has called on the British government to relax immigration rules and let those who were employed before COVID-19 and Brexit return to help with the staffing issues. Although there were other flights across Europe to UK, most of them are loaded and passengers were only given hours notice that their flights were cancelled. No official announcement or explanation regarding the issue has been provided by the said airlines from their social media accounts or websites. Several officials in Conservative Party had submitted a no-confidence letter for Prime Minister Boris Johnson's leadership over a Partygate scandal. Ruth Bahay will tell us why live. Yes, Ruth?
Kath, Prime Minister Boris Johnson will face a no-confidence vote in the British Parliament today between 6 p.m. and 8 p.m. British Summer Time, after the number of letters exceeded 54 seeking him to resign. Under the Conservative Party rule, the leadership ballot will be held if 15% of the Conservatives sent letters to Sir Graham Brady, the chairman of the 1992 Committee of Backbench Tories. The letters are confidential, but only the chairman of the committee knows the tally of letters at a given time. According to Sir Graham Brady, the votes will be counted immediately afterwards, and the arrangement for the announcement will follow. Mr. Johnson needs 180 votes to win and stay in the office, which is at least 50% of the Conservative Party or Tory MPs plus one. If he wins, he will be safe from any further challenge for a year, although the rules can be changed. Back to you, Kath.
Thank you, Ruth Bahay, for that live report. And those are the reasons behind the news in other parts of the globe. I'm Kat Tumaraos, live from Bangkok, Thailand. Good evening.
Are you ready for a possible major volcano eruption? Here are some tips on what to do to keep yourself and your family out of harm's way in such emergency.
The Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology, or PHIVOLCS, has not discounted the possibility of another phreatic or steam-driven eruption at the Bulusan Volcano in the coming days, weeks, or months. If you or your relative live within the danger zones, it is important to be prepared. The government is ready to evacuate residents that may be affected by such volcanic activity. In particular are those within the 14-kilometer permanent danger zone. But not only the government and agencies, but also families and households must be aware of the necessary safety measures for what may come. Prepare a go bag. This should contain food items, bottled water, clothes, medicines, first aid kit, and other necessities that can last for even a few days. Secure important documents and identification cards. Know the designated evacuation centers in your areas, as well as contact details of hospitals and authorities to call upon in times of emergency. When evacuation is imposed, do not hesitate to evacuate. If a major volcanic eruption occurs, avoid going inside or near structures or buildings that might collapse because of possible earthquakes during the eruption. Don't depend your safety on mere experiences. When taking shelter in an evacuation center, make sure to ask from government personnel for your necessities. For residents who will not be directly affected by the volcanic eruption, prepare a face mask for possible ashfall.
Our Kasangbahay, as the world faces these trying times amid the pandemic caused by coronavirus, we are inviting everyone to join the Global Prayer for Humanity from Monday to Friday, 9:30 p.m. Philippine time through the social media accounts of Members Church of God International. And before we close, we will leave you with a word giving glory to God from the book of Romans chapter 13 verse 1. It says, Let every soul be subject unto the higher powers, for there is no power but of God. The powers that be are ordained of God. And those are the reasons behind the news, June 6, 2022. Reasons we deliver to you as they unfold. I am William Theo. Because we need to know, we will always ask why. We serve the people, we give glory to God.